happens when you go up against Lex Luthor? The same thing that's going to happen to Superman.
Lex Luthor is a character that, as I've gotten older, I've actually grown to appreciate more and more. As a kid, I was never big on them. I always liked characters more like Sinestro, Joker, well, basically all the Batman and Flash villains, so I think about it, and then Sinestro, because Sinestro's cool. And Luthor just didn't appeal to me, because he seemed basic. But as I've gone on, and as I've read more stories that have predominantly featured Luthor, I really enjoy him as a character. I love how devious and single-minded in his hatred of Superman he can become, while still balancing that with being incredibly intelligent and threatening in his own right. And in all honesty, the Justice League Unlimited cartoon gives me one of my favorite interpretations of a comic book character ever, just by giving Lex Luthor the central role, have him drive the plot for a couple seasons. He is the main character of the last season. He has more episodes dedicated to him than anyone else. So, all that is to say, Luthor's pretty cool, and I wanted to figure out him. From Mattel's DC Universe Classics, specifically from, I think it was Gotham's Most Wanted 5-pack, this is the Super Friends Lex Luthor. They did do a couple of other Lex Luthors in the DC Universe Classics line, but they were all in the Kryptonite, or the anti-Krypton suit, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. I like this, just because it reminds me more of the Justice League cartoon, and also Super Friends is just kind of fun. Taking a closer look, and this is probably the only Lex Luthor to ever be as buff as Superman, just due to the use of the Bucks, which is standardized bodies in DC Universe Classics, but to be fair, I think it really works, especially if you consider this more as an homage to his Superpowers toy line figure. So, taking a closer look, I love the head sculpt. It's so wonderfully shaded, and it's just another example of the Four Horsemen being the Four Horsemen, doing everything spectacularly. The rest of the body, very interesting, basic in terms of color layout, but very effective at the same time. And if you're into a more Silver Age appearance, it looks like he dove right off the screen. It's really spectacular. But at the same time, I know there's a lot of people who would probably prefer Luthor in the anti-Krypton suit, or even maybe just in a power suit, like just in a normal business suit. But I kind of like my Luthor to be a bit more goofy. Also, just like every DC Universe Classics figure, he articulates very well, universal on the shoulder, good cut here at the arm, 90 degrees at the elbow, wrist swivel, head on a ball joint, bit of an ab crunch, swivel at the waist, DC Universe Classics hip, which is perfect, still my favorite action figure hip, thigh cut, 90 degrees at the knee, and a little bit at the foot. He's my favorite Lex Luthor toy.